Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Today we're going to be doing a Dark Magician deck profile here on the channel. I want to say thank you to those of you who have watched the previous deck profiles that I just put out. That helps a lot here on the channel. If you're new, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and also leave a like on the video because it always helps our channel grow here. So without further ado, let's do this. Attack! Alright, so to start off, we are playing 3 copies of Dark Magician. Reason why we play 3 is because he's the boss monster of the deck. These are the 3 artworks that I like the most. I have 2 of my starter deck Yugiohs, Dark Magicians, and then I also have an ultimate rare Dark Magician here. Moving on, we play 3 copies of Apprentice Illusion Magician. Reason why we play 3 copies of her is because you can special summon this card from your hand by discarding 1 card, and if it's special summoned that way you can add a Dark Magician from your deck to your hand. And then also, as another special ability, you can send this card from your hand or face it from your field to the graveyard and target a monster you control, and it can gain 2000 attack and defense during the damage calculation. So it's a good way to help boost your monsters on your field, and then also get Dark Magician quickly from your deck into your hand. Then we're playing 3 copies of Magician's Rod, simply because this card helps you search for any card that has Dark Magician in it. So if you want to grab your Dark Magic Circle, if you want to grab Dark Magic Attack, Thousand Knives, Dark Magic Curtain, anything like that, this is a good card to have. You just normal summon it and activate its effect, and then go grab whatever spell or trap that has Dark Magician in it from your deck. Then we play 3 copies of Chocolate Magician Girl. The reason why we play 3 of her is because you can discard 1 spellcaster type monster to draw a card, and then also once per turn, if this card is targeted for an attack, you can target a spellcaster monster in your graveyard and special summon it, and then change the attack target to that and half the attack of your opponent's monster. So it's a good way to not only draw cards from your deck, but it's a built-in protection kind of for some of your monsters, and it can also weaken your opponent's monsters when they attack it. Then we're playing 2 copies of Palladium Oracle Mahad. Reason why we're playing him is if he's ever destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon a Dark Magician from your hand, deck, or graveyard. And also he's great because if he battles another dark monster, his attack will get doubled, so he'll go from 2500 attack into 5000 attack. And he's pretty simple to get on the field too, because all you have to do is just draw him from your deck and then reveal him, and you can special summon him to the field from your hand. Then we're playing 1 copy of Dark Magician Girl, simply because we're playing a lot of Dark Magicians, so she gains 300 attack for every Dark Magician in either player's graveyard. We're also playing 1 copy of Skilled Dark Magician. Reason why we're playing him is because each time a spell card is activated, you can put 1 counter on him, and you can take 3 counters off of him to special summon a Dark Magician from your hand, deck, or graveyard. Then we're playing 1 copy of Palladium Oracle Mana. Reason why we're playing her is because she's destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon 1 Dark Magician Girl from your hand, deck, or graveyard. And then also, if your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a spellcaster monster you control while you have it in your hand or graveyard, you can special summon this card to the field. And then also, once per turn, level 7 or higher spellcaster monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. So she acts as a nice built-in protection to help keep your Dark Magician safe from being destroyed. Then we're also playing 1 copy of Magician of Dark Illusion, and the reason why we're playing him is because his name gets treated as Dark Magician, so you can get him to your hand based off of searches for a Dark Magician. And then during your opponent's turn, if you activate a spell or trap card or effect during the damage step, you can special summon him to the field from your hand. And if you activate a spell or trap card or effect while he's face up on the field, you can target a Dark Magician in your graveyard and special summon it. So it's a good way to get Dark Magician back from the graveyard onto the field, and then make any fusion or rank 7 Xyz plays that you want to do, or even link off your Dark Magician for something stronger. And then lastly, for the hand traps, we're playing Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion, Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, and 1 Effect Veiler. Moving on to the spells and traps in the main deck, we are playing 3 copies of Dark Magic Circle. Reason why we're playing 3 copies of Dark Magical Circle is when you activate it, you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and if it's a Dark Magician or any card that lists Dark Magician, you can add it to your hand. And then if you're able to special summon Dark Magician to the field, you can banish one card your opponent controls, but you can only use that effect once per turn. Then we are playing 3 copies of the Eye of Timaeus. Reason why we play 3 copies of Eye of Timaeus is because I have multiple fusions in my extra deck that require a Dark Magician and a Dragon type monsters. Then we're playing 1 copy of Secret Village of the Spellcasters and 1 Terraforming to help search for it. The reason why we play Secret Village of the Spellcasters is because if you control a Spellcaster type monster and your opponent does not, your opponent cannot activate any spell cards. So it's a good way to help shut down your opponent from being able to use stuff like Raigeki, Harpy's Feather Duster. If they want to use Pot of Duality, Pot of Extravagance, any other spell cards really, it just helps to block that out. Then for the draw power in the deck, we're playing 1 copy of Dark World Dealings, 1 Upstart Goblin, and 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. Allure of Darkness is pretty simple. You can draw 2 cards and then just banish 1 dark monster from your hand. So when you're playing with an entire deck of spellcaster monsters, it's pretty easy to do so. Then we're playing 2 copies of Soul Servant. You can make the argument that you could play 3 of these, but I only have 2, so that's why I'm playing 2 in the deck. The reason why Soul Servant is so good is because it just helps you search out more of your Dark Magician cards. So it says you can place 1 card on top of the deck from your hand, deck, or graveyard that is Dark Magician, or lists Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl in its text. And then during your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard to draw cards equal to the number of Palladium monsters, Dark Magician, and or Dark Magician Girl with different names on the field and in the graveyard. So it acts as a searcher, and it also helps you draw cards from your deck. Then for spell and trap removal, we're playing 2 copies of Twin Twister. Then we're playing 1 copy of Monster Reborn, 1 copy of Raigeki, and we're also playing 1 copy of Dark Burning Attack and Dark Burning Magic. So Dark Burning Attack is cool because if you control a Dark Magician Girl, you can destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls. And Dark Burning Magic is good because if you control Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, you can destroy all cards your opponent controls. So both of these act as destruction cards along with Raigeki. Then we're playing 1 copy of Bond Between Teacher and Student and 1 copy of Illusion Magic. Illusion Magic is pretty simple. You just tribute a spellcaster on your field, and you can add up to 2 copies of Dark Magician from your deck and or your graveyard to your hand. So if you have Magician's Rod on the field, or if you have the Chocolate Magician Girl, you can just tribute them off to get Dark Magician right into your hand or get it back from the graveyard. And Bond Between Teacher and Student, if you control Dark Magician, you can special summon Dark Magician Girl from your hand, deck, or graveyard. And then you can set either the Dark Burning Magic or the Dark Burning Attack from your deck to the field. Then for the traps, we're playing 2 copies of Magician Navigation. The reason why we're playing this card is it helps you special summon Dark Magician from your hand. And then you can banish this card from the graveyard to negate the effects of 1 face-up spell or trap your opponent controls. So it acts as another way to get Dark Magician onto the field without having to tribute, and it also helps to block the effects of your opponent's spell and trap cards. And lastly, we are playing 3 copies of Eternal Soul. The reason why we're playing 3 copies of this card is it's very important because it helps you special summon Dark Magician from your hand or graveyard every single turn. And you can also choose to add 1 Dark Magic Attack or 1,000 Knives from your deck to your hand. So basically this card just acts as another Monster Reborn, and since it's a continuous trap, it'll stay on the field until your opponent destroys it. The only downside is if this card is ever destroyed, you have to destroy all monsters you control, so that's kind of a drawback, but there's ways to get around that. Moving on to the extra deck, we're playing 1 copy of Dark Magician the Dragon Knight and 2 copies of Amulet Dragon. The reason why we're playing Dark Magician the Dragon Knight is because while it's on the field or in the graveyard, your opponent cannot target spell or traps you control with card effects, so that'll help protect your Eternal Soul and allow you to keep special summoning Dark Magician every turn from your graveyard. And they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, so it's a great way to help protect any spell or trap that you put on your field. And the reason why we're playing Amulet Dragon is because you can target any number of spells in any graveyard and banish those targets, and if you do, this card will gain 100 attack for each card banished by this effect. So you can not only take away banished cards from your graveyard, but you can banish spells from your opponent's graveyard to make this card even stronger. And then if he's ever destroyed, you can target 1 spellcaster monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So you can get Dark Magician back from your graveyard and if you still have your Dark Magic Circle on the field, you can then banish one card your opponent controls. Then we're playing one copy of Predaplant Trifiofertum, and the reason why we're playing him is because he can gain attack equal to the original attack of all other monsters on the field. So he gets a attack boost as soon as he's summoned, and then when your opponent special summons a monster from their extra deck while you control this card, you can negate the summon and destroy that monster. So it helps stop your opponent from special summoning monsters from their extra deck, as well as also increasing his own attack strength upon summoning. And then we're playing two copies of Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight. The reason why we're playing her is because we have Dark Magician Girl in the deck and also the Eye of Timaeus. And once per turn, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard to target a face-up card on the field and destroy it. So it just acts as removal for stuff that you want to get rid of if you can't attack over it with this card or some of your other cards. Then for some Xyz monsters, we're playing two copies of Norito, the Moral Leader. And the reason why we're playing him is because he requires two level 6 monsters, so we have Dark Magician Girl and Palladium Oracle Mana to help make him. He's really good because once per turn when your opponent activates a spell or trap card, you can detach a material from him to negate the activation and destroy it. So again, it's another great way to stop your opponent from using those spell and trap cards, similar to Secret Village of the Spellcasters and also Twin Twisters. Then we're also playing two copies of Ebon Illusion Magician, and he requires two level 7 monsters to make him, so we have Dark Magician for that. He's great because once per turn you can detach one Xyz material from him to special summon one spellcaster normal monster from your hand or deck, so that would be Dark Magician. And then when a normal spellcaster monster declares an attack, you can target one card your opponent controls and banish it. So he acts like another version of Dark Magic Circle. Moving on to the Link monsters in our extra deck, we're playing two copies of Underclocked Taker. The reason why we're playing him is because he's pretty easy to make. He just requires two effect monsters, and then once per turn you can target one face-up monster this card points to and one face-up monster your opponent controls, and your opponent's monster will lose attack equal to the attack of your monster that it points to. So it's a good way to help beat some of your opponent's stronger monsters that your weaker cards can't get over. Then we're also playing two copies of Topologic Bomber Dragon. Again, he's pretty easy to summon. You just need two or more effect monsters, and if another monster is special summoned to a zone he points to, you can destroy all monsters in the main monster zone, and other monsters also cannot attack for the rest of this turn. So he acts as like a board wipe essentially. And then also if this card attacked an opponent's monster, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack. So if you don't want to use his board wipe effect, that's fine, you can keep him on the field. You can just go and attack one of your opponent's monsters and help reduce their life points even more. Then the last card for the extra deck is our Borreload Dragon. He's really great because neither player can target him with card effects, and once per turn you can target one face-up monster on the field and it will lose 500 attack and defense. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this activation, so it'll always go through. And then as a fun added effect, at the start of the damage step, if this card attacks an opponent's monster, you can place that opponent's monster in a zone this card points to and take control of it. So you can then either link it off, or you can use it for an Xyz play or a synchro or anything else really. You just don't want to leave it. You don't want to leave your opponent's monster on your field till the end of the turn, because then it'll just go to the graveyard. So you're better off taking advantage of it and using it for something else to help benefit you. Moving on to the extra deck, we're playing one copy of Super Polymerization because we're playing that Predaplant monster, so you can use monsters on both players' fields to help fusion summon. And we're also playing two copies of Dimensional Barrier. So what's great about Dimensional Barrier is you can declare one monster type, so either Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Pendulum, and for the rest of this turn neither player can special summon monsters of that declared type, and you can also negate the effects of all monsters of that type that are face up on the field. So this card essentially just blocks your opponent from special summoning anything from their extra deck, and if they already have something really powerful, some kind of a link monster like Apollosa, or if they have Borreload Savage Dragon, or True King of All Calamities, you can just declare, either a Link, Synchro, or Xyz, and their effects will be negated until they leave the field. So even after this card is gone, the effect negation is still active. Then we're playing 2 copies of Lost Wind. The reason why we're playing Lost Wind is it also acts as a monster negation, so you can target one face-up special summon monster on the field, negate its effects, and its original attack is also halved. And then if a monster is special summoned from your opponent's extra deck while this card is in the graveyard, you can then set this card back on the field, but then you have to banish it when it leaves the field. So you can essentially use this effect twice per card. Then we're playing 2 copies of Gamma Seal, the Sea Turtle, just because if your opponent has a monster that you can't beat, you just tribute it off and then put Gamma Seal on their side of the field, and that takes care of that monster. And then in order to help prevent your hand from bricking with Dark Magician in it, we have 2 copies of Dark Magic Veil, so you just pay 1,000 life points and you can special summon 1 Dark Spellcaster type monster from your hand or graveyard. You could also use this to get Dark Magician Girl, Palladium Oracle Bana, another Magician's Rod, anything like that back out onto the field. Then to help with more spell and trap negation, we're playing 2 copies of Dark Bribe. So when your opponent activates a spell or trap card, your opponent draws a card, and then you can just negate the activation of the card and destroy it. Then we're playing a nice little handy trap called Trap Hole of Spikes. And this card's super cool because when your opponent decides to attack you with a monster that was normal or special summoned, you can destroy that monster and then inflict damage to their life points equal to that monster's original attack. So it acts as like another version of Magic Cylinder, only better because this card will actually destroy that opponent's monster, whereas Magic Cylinder would just negate the attack and then inflict the damage. So this card gives you the added effect of destroying the monster and also inflicting the same damage. Then we're playing 1 copy of Dark Magic Attack because we have a Dark Magician in our deck and it helps you destroy all your opponent's spell and traps on the field. And the last card in our side deck is, of course, Called by the Grave, to help deal with any annoying monster effects in the graveyard that you don't want to deal with. Just play Called by the Grave and you can banish them from the duel. So that's going to wrap up the profile. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you're always aware of new videos when they drop. And I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one.